Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today we'll be testing out the new Primordial White Blanc. Blanc in French, but I'm not French, so I'm not going to say it French-wise. She seems to be a very, very, very good support slash sub single target DPS on the Visions of Coleus team. She's giving a lot of support to the team and a lot of generic support that you can take onto other blue stacking teams, so we will make sure to do that. She uses a fist, so you can take it off the light Daggerel if you already had him geared and put it on her. She is light magic, so she's not type advantage against the boss, or the Jubilee, or the beatdown, whatever it is, but she's still getting that extra 60% damage buff from Valentine regardless. She's on Visions of Coleus, Primal Demon, and Fount of Wisdom. Visions of Coleus obviously being led by Valentine, Primal Demon and Fount of Wisdom being both technically led by the Fount of Wisdom Diablo, who gives Primal Demons also that extra 20% stats, so she fits under him quite well. Her skills, single target light magic for 490, no secondary effect, so it's all damage. Her first skill is 100% weakness strike for everybody, so it does not matter who or what team you're on, you will get weakness strike as long as you're doing type advantage or you fall under an EX category lead against that specific enemy. And she also lowers synergy resistance across the board for one turn by 50%, which means that when you do have the synergy effect active, you will do technically quote-unquote 50% more damage because they have been lowered, which is great. But it only applies when you have synergy effect, which does hold her back just a tiny bit because there's only currently 2 units that can give it to you, them both being the protectors of this meta. We'll probably see more supports that give synergy rate in the future as far as battle unit skills, so right now her viability without Valentine and the free-to-play Rimuru protector is limited, but only for this part of the skill. She's still a really good unit. It's just that she's a really, really, really good unit with this active. And then her second skill is an alt swap into blues, but it's 3 alts into blues, not just a single alt like the previous units used to do. Summer Shizu, Warrior's Mind, Rimuru, EX Hero on Goddess of Destiny and World of Fantasy. You know, they did 1 alt into whatever color. Blanc does 3. So you can have a lot of alts on this team and not have to worry about it as far as stacking more blue protector and points and gauge is concerned. It's a very, very, very power creep kind of skill that we have here. So again, that just means that she's even better and viable on multiple blue stacking teams because you can pretty much always take advantage of weakness strike and you can definitely always take advantage of the triple alt swap. So very good. Valor trait, she nerfs blues. It doesn't really matter too much. Her actual trait, which you get a free dupe of her from the character showcase event, so anybody who pulls Blanc will have this trait active. Protection gauge every 2 turns is great for a stacking team. It pretty much means that if you have your team set up, you can get double stacks on turn 2. It goes up to 6 from 4 when you get her to 120. She gets extra 20% ult damage on if you get her to 120. And then she gets synergy power with Rimuru, and she buffs other team stats. So she's overall a very, very good unit. And also, it's free crystals because she is a new named unit, which means in your interaction screen, you can go ahead and feed her whatever food that you can, and you can raise her level up by quite a bit. Looks like she likes fruit and fish, right? Is she on both of these? Yeah, she's on premium fruit. Oh, the hot pot is for everybody, never mind. So she likes fruit. She likes fruit, that's fine. So if you have a lot of fruit, you can feed her up to, 10, 15, 20, 25, however high you want to go. But this is more stats for her, and it is free crystals that you may, happen to have another multi off of this if you have enough to feed her. Which I have a lot of food stockpiled, so I can feed her a lot. But maybe newer players don't have all that much. But every time you can, it is a way to get some free crystal income. So 20 levels right there, and we'll check out how many crystals we get from doing that. But, make sure to do that for your characters. It's extra stats, makes them more powerful, makes them tankier, and it's just free crystals. So we got 19 gifts right there, and 105 crystals. Easy. So that's that. Let's go ahead and start the test, though. Alright, before we get started, we're going to do a small comparison test, because we have brought the team that I was previously running with a few new additions. We took Cosma out for Space Violet, because as the Big Sweaty Tryhard Nature found out, her 55% ult resistance down is more powerful than Cosma's 50% attack and 50% defense debuff, which I had a hard time believing, but he showed me proof, so I was like, okay, well, we'll try it out. And then we've also brought Summer Shizu, who is the closest unit to the new Blanc. You know, she does almost the same thing, weakness, strike, plus the ult swap. It's just that Blanc is better. So this is a good damage comparison test between what we can do with this current setup, and then we'll see how much it increases when we add Blanc instead of Shizu. And also, yes, I know I'm saying her name wrong, and there's nothing you can do about it. So this is Violet with all of the buffs. She's got the 80% buff right there. We've got the ult resistance down already. We've got the trait. We've got magic attack, weakness strike, water, well, space attack right here, technically. So we have everything that we can possibly give Violet, and we're going to nuke, and we'll see how much damage we do here. So we'll start with the normals, and then we'll ult. And 123,000, and then 2.49 million damage. 2.4 is very, very good, considering this boss at max HP on Inferno 3 has not even 2.2 million. So 2.4 is what we're shooting for. Now let's come back with the new team, and we'll gauge. Alright, here is the team setup now that we've added Blanc. So we've got Guy, Violet, Blanc, Hinata, and Violet again. However, because Blanc also has the turn 2 protection trait, combined with Xion down here, we will be able to get a double stack of Valentine on turn 2, whereas the last team with Summer Shizu, we were not able to do that, because we only had Xion giving us the turn 2, and we were just, like, 2 points shy or something from getting a double stack. So already, this team will run much more efficiently, because we'll get more stacks of Valentine. So already it's going to look better as far as stacks are concerned, and then we'll also just do inherently more damage. We've also got Space Lumi underneath Violet for her trait, where if you send 6 blues, you get extra attack. So, I mean, that should work in the long run if we leave her up front, which we should be able to now, because Blanc is able to, you know, change all of our ults into blues, unlike Shizu, who's only doing 1. So this will run much more efficiently. Okay, so we skipped turn 1, because turn 1 is just an orb change, and really RNG is focused on turn 2, which could turn out pretty bad, and I've had to reset like 5 times already. But we're on this turn now, which, I mean, technically, I guess, works. But we do have a double stack of Lumi now, because we have the Water Xion trait that's under Hinata, and then Blanc's own trait, so that's already very good. Now, because this is a blue stacking team, and we're going to be here for a while, I mean, I could send all of these normal Violet orbs and just get her ult almost immediately, but we don't get a lot of protection gauge, which is really not what I want to do. So we're going to swap in the other Violet and convert all of them to blues, and then we'll kind of just make our happy way down. And while this doesn't give us an ult for Violet, we have plenty of time to do such a thing, so let's just go ahead and send this for Guy. We'll get him close to an ult, but again, because of the power of Blanc, it doesn't really matter how many units have ults, because we can swap all of them up front at any time into blues, and that's just going to really help us out here. Alright, perfect. We got a good hand for Violet to change, so we'll take Hinata out, and we'll be looking pretty good. So, orb change, and then another stack. Now, I didn't have Violet up front turn 3, which didn't give us, you know, her protection trait. I did pump 2 dupes into Violet to get her maximum trait on turn 3, and also just for a bit more stats. So we did make that change, but she was already 112 in the previous segment of the video, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, so what have we here? We've got a Guy ult. So we can go ahead and use Blanc to get rid of that, and then we'll use Guy's orb change, and then that'll change those 2 greens. And we'll be looking pretty good. We should get Violet's ult here as well on this turn, but so far we've gotten the maximum amount of stacks that I could probably get So we're looking pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, cool. So yep, that definitely gets us Violet's ult. And then we'll just have to pray that we can get enough to get her EX ult in the next 3 turns or so. Okay, yeah, I mean, that should work. Okay, so here is the beginning of her incredible ult swapping power, because normally if we had Summer Shizu, we'd have to swap one of them out, and, you know, it'd be a hassle. But here, it doesn't really matter. Like, we could still swap Guy out. There's really no harm in it. And we might as well anyways, because we need to. But first, let's use his orb change, and then convert one of those oranges, and then we'll swap you out for Hinata, and then we'll do the swap, and then we'll do Violet's orb change. Alright, so good. That's just going to maximize the amount of Violet orbs we can get, just getting her closer and closer to her ult. Hopefully we continue to get more orbs for her. But now I think we have Blanc's ult as well. So now we have 3 ults, and normally that'd be pretty bad. Okay, Hinata taking that also was not the greatest thing in the world. Thanks a bunch. Okay, but now we're going to bring in Guy, and we have 3 ults here. And that would normally be not great, because this is a stacking team and I want orbs, and we want to make sure that we can get Violet's ult. But because of Blanc's incredible orb-changing power, that no longer matters. So we can do this, and all 3 of them are blues now. And then we have just this perfect Guy orb change hand right here, and then look at that. We got 6 blues again. And we can do that over and over and over again. Okay, counterattacks, come on, you've countered like 10 times already. But yeah, so incredible versatility on a blue stacking team where you're gonna get multiple ults for multiple people just because of how many orbs you're sending. Especially if you have charms on, or if you're bringing maybe the new Cleash who's buffing ult gauge, like purely ult gauge on blues. Like, that's gonna give you a lot of ult gauge over the course of 8 turns. And here we go, we got another good hand, so perfect. We'll do this, we'll do Violet's orb change and ult swap. Orb change. This should be enough, this one last orb, to get us the EX ult. Perfect. And then double stack, maximum points. We're looking great. Oh, please don't kill Guy. Actually, that'd be really bad. Please don't kill Guy. I don't want to do this all over again. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, good. You didn't do it. Alright, perfect. Okay, so let's get everything active, and then we shall nuke. So we're looking for higher than 2.4, which we will definitely get. But how much higher will we get is the question. So let's alt buff, magic buff. We'll do the weakness strike plus synergy resistance down. And then we've got the 2 more buffs in the back. So we'll take out Guy for Hinata, and then use her space buff technically. And then we'll bring in Violet for her ult resistance down skill. And then we're pretty much out of points there. So, Violet has now 152% attack, so we've gotten the maximum amount of stacks that we could get, you know, throughout this entire fight. I don't think you can get much more unless you go more than 8 turns. We got the space tech, we've got the traits from, you know, Valentine and both Valentines actually. The one that's supporting Violet and then the Protector Valentine. Extra 9% attack right there. We've got guaranteed synergy, magic attack, weakness strike for 100%. So we're looking pretty good. And then we've got the ult resistance and weakness strike down on Hinata. So now we don't have an orb for her, so we can't really see that. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and send Violet because we know that we're gonna kill. So more than 2.4. And we do 4.5. 4.5 million damage. We did an extra 2 million. Like, that is some crazy shit right there. We did an extra 2 million by swapping 1 unit. Just 1. It is. Maybe we had 1 less stack on Violet from Lumi. Okay, fair. We lost 12% attack. But we had an extra 40% weakness strike and the synergy resistance down. Somehow, gives us an extra 2 million damage. I don't know how that works out. Don't ask me how to do that math, because I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know. But that is an incredible amount of support coming off of one unit. Just one. So, it's... Man, that... Oh boy. That's some good shit right there. You can't dispute that. You're gonna look at that and be like, you did something wrong. No, we chronicled the entire run up. I didn't chronicle the last run up because it doesn't matter. The team is inferior. Shizu is vastly inferior on this specific setup than Blanc, and that's because of the synergy power and then the effect that synergy resistance down has, which apparently is a very, very big debuff. Right? 50% crit resistance down wouldn't matter that much if you were critting. Like, it wouldn't matter, like, as much as this one did, I don't think. Don't quote me on it. But, alright, let's take her somewhere else now, I guess. Alright, next we're going to put her onto the Light 3.0 team. Another stacking team that can benefit from the alt-swapping ability that Blanc has. Now, normally, I would put, like, Dark Lumi, or the Hero, or even Vengeance Veldora, because he also has the weakness damage buff, and he's got that stacking alt damage up to 50%. So that 50 plus the 80 may overshadow her straight up 100% weakness strike, because we're not going to activate the synergy buff here, because unless we naturally hit it somehow, which is like a 2% chance, so don't bank on it. But because we are running a stacking team, and because these are not, like, we have an orb changer who is a primary sub DPS, right? We have Megamine, who, if you get her ult, it becomes a challenge to work with her, because you don't want to send the ult, because you don't want to stun herself for a turn, because she's also a primary orb changer. Well, with Blanc here, she's not really going to have to worry about that, because we can just infinitely swap her ult out for blues, and we never have to worry about, do I have to send Megamine to the back? Do I have to, go with her without a turn? It's going to solve a lot of the problems I have with Megamine as a whole. So this should work very nicely. Alright, finally, I can do a turn 2 orb change. For the love of God, this took like 10 times. We made a change to the team. We put Blanc in the back and gave her Bride Xion so she could be now our DPS unit. She's not going to benefit from the extra 40% stun strike from Raphael, but it should be okay if we can outpace it with the EX ult. So let's go ahead and get Milim in here for Megamine, and we can change those. And then we can bring Valentine in for Milim, and then change those greens, and then we can get stacks on the people who matter, our single target nukers here. So, ideally, by turn 8, we would have 3 ults. It's because it's not going to take these two very long, because they're not EX, and we want as many orbs as we can for Blanc, which we only have 1, unfortunately, so that is what it is. We'll just see if we have to get lucky, and if we have to reset somewhere down the line. Okay, I love counters every single turn. Okay. I mean, fine. What? God damn it. Okay, well, we got a Megamine orb change, but we have actually no orbs for who I actually want to showcase. So you're going out. Sometimes the game just decides to say, no, we're not going to play with you today. Alright, well, so we have a Raphael ult. That's cool. Okay, counter. You got another one in you? I bet you do. Okay, guarded that. Wow. Wow, that's so impressive, guys. Okay, you're going out. We're gonna do this, and then we can do the Megamine orb change, and then we can bring your happy ass in for Milim. We'll get 2 more stacks on you since we want to nuke with her and not Raphael. Although at this point Raphael can sit in the back and there's really no harm in it. because he's not orb changing. So really, this is fine. This is fine. All right, so we have the alts for both Valentine and Blanc. So now we can really make use of her other skill of swapping both of these alts away. So those are 2 guaranteed blues. Okay. We're getting more orbs for her though, so that's good. I mean, I will definitely take that. Turn 5. We may have to go a few extra turns here, but I think that'll be okay. What to do here? I kind of don't want to use Megumin's orb change because it's getting expensive. Let's do this. Okay, it didn't hit who I wanted it to. Alright, well, we're gonna have to do it anyways. So, orb change, and then we'll swap these 2 alts. And boom, there's 4 more orbs for her, plus a full hand of blues, and that'll get us, very close. Double stack, maximum points. That's all we really... Okay, come on. You gotta stop that. Okay. Alright. Well, we're gonna be okay here. We're gonna be okay. We have no orbs for her. That's not great. I feel like we gotta swap her out. We gotta swap her out. We gotta keep her in for someone else that has orbs. Let's do 2 more stacks. Because this is turn 6? Yeah, this is turn 6. So we can get at least like 2 or 3 more orbs for her next turn. At least 2 guaranteed because she'll have her own alt. That'll work out fairly well. So we'll swap those. And then we're going to take her out of here for Milim. We're gonna play like that, right? She has no, she has 1 orb here. Yeah, you're gonna go away. We can use Megumin's orb change here. It's expensive, but it is what it is. We have to. Alright, so max points, another stack of Shuna, and then I'm praying that like Megumin or Milim gets like 4 orbs or something here. Please. Well... Sure. That can work, technically. So Valentine's gonna have 3 orbs, so we gotta swap Val out, which is fine actually. So yeah, there we go. And oh, actually that didn't work out. Actually, well, I guess it would all come down to if Megumin can convert these 2 Blanc orbs. Which she can. Doesn't really matter, though. Is this gonna get her... Let's get her alt. Will this get her alt? Actually, I don't know. It does. Okay, so, okay, fine, that works out. But we can do what we want here. Sorry. An orb crisis, because the game hates me. Alright, but here we go. We have the EX alt. We have all the major buffs. We can do 1 more stack here. So, let's see how much damage we can do using her EX alt with all the other buffs. So we've got the alt buff, we've got the attack buff plus the light resistance down. We've got the weakness strike as well. And then we'll bring in Lumi for Megumin and Raphael for Milim. And then we'll use the light power plus the stun resistance down, the stun, and then the pierce and the alt resistance down. And then this should be some very, very good damage because she's gotten most of the stacks. So we'll send the 1 orb for her, and then we'll nuke, and we'll see how much damage this actually does. I am fully confident that we're going to wipe this poor guy, so I don't want to send anything else. Let's turn this on, though, so we can watch her alt for the first time today. And we'll see how much damage we do here. 132k actually is not as much as I was hoping for. Hopefully the alt impresses me. I mean, this is an older team, right? This isn't an EX team, we're just putting an EX unit on it. Abyssopelagic Bright, I don't know how to say that. 2.5. I mean, that matches what Violet did in the first showcase part, right? 2.5 million? That's good damage right there. Again, nothing in the game will live a 2.5 million nuke, right? Because the Inferno 3 Hinata for the current beatdown has the most HP we've ever seen at 1.9 million. So, by doing 2.5, it doesn't mean because you have the capability of doing a 4.5 million nuke, doesn't mean it's bad. This is a very good nuke. That's a very powerful nuke, and Raphael was not going to do that. Even with the extra 40% stun strike, Raphael is not doing 2.5 million right there. So, a very, very good pickup, and we used her throughout the entire fight, swapping out ults left and right to make sure that we can get maximum gauge. And that is the power of having a triple ult swap. Like, even if you don't need the 3 ults, you swap one, fine. It may be a little bit more expensive than the other ult swap abilities, but they're only doing it once. And for here, we had 3 ults at all times, pretty much. And we needed to have multiple turns swapping multiple ults. So it's a very powerful skill. The weakness strike, again, is generic across the board, so anybody can take advantage of that as long as you have type advantage. She's a really good unit. She's a really, really good unit, even without the synergy resistance debuff. Like, if we had hit the natural chance of synergy right there, we would have done like 3.5 million or something like that, or more. But there's outside of having the new Valentine Protector, there's no way to guarantee that. So that is a slight black mark on this new Blanc's record, but it's not a big one. It's like a tiny little scratch in the corner. Like, it's not really going to matter. Let's go somewhere else. Alright, the final team isn't really going to make too much sense for her, but she is a light unit, and, you know, the Bride Shizu team is a very old team right now. It's not meant for an 80-point skill here. But if it's the best you've got, and you happen to pull New Blanc, then you could put her on the team. She's not going to work extremely well. She's converting away from greens, which is what this team wants. Her 80-point skill is vastly too expensive for a team that's capped at 100. But we're going to put her on it anyways and see what she can do. So, you know, let's find out. Okay, well, we actually got fairly lucky here. So we can use both Rimuru's Orb Change and Shion's Orb Change here. So we'll take the hero out, and then we can run with this. We'll bring you in for Isis, and then we'll go ahead and send this. Yeah, we'll send it on Shinsha, since she's going to have extra defense, she's going to heal. So 8,000 right there. We need to get the ult for Shion first, before we can even attempt to swap it away into a blue. So the way I'm thinking this should work is we get the ult, we swap it to a blue, and then we use Shizu to swap the blues into a green. I mean, hopefully that works out in our favor, right? That's what we're hoping for. Yeah. I think this should work. Think being the key word, a big keyword. Let's put it on you. So this will give greens extra ult gauge increase. We're about to convert all of these to greens. We're going to use the rewind here, and yeah, okay, this worked out a lot better in my head, okay? I'm just gonna make that very apparent. This worked out a lot better in my head. Let's use Shizu, change all of these to greens, give us the Pierce, and then we should be able to get the ult for Shion here. Yeah, good. And then we could use this again. We don't need to swap the ult, actually, because we're not going to have an ult coming in. That did a lot of damage. Okay. But we have enough points now that, yeah, we could use the weakness buff now, and then swap Shion out for Isis, and then use the green buff here, and then do this again, because now with the green buff we should get another Shizu next turn. Okay, it worked out. It all works out. We're probably actually gonna kill Shinsha here. Yeah, we got almost an EX ult right there. There's no other way for us to get that though, so unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cheeky counter, because why not? Oh, okay. Okay, calm down, Shinsha. We don't. I don't need your back talk here. We didn't actually kill her. Okay, there's a big heal. That's fine. That's what we wanted. That's why we were targeting her, because she's tanky and she's got that heal. But now we can bring Xion back in for Isis now that she has 1 orb. She has the weakness buff already. We're going to give her the crit buff and her own attack buff. So now we're going to be up to 61% because we're going to use this skill first. 61% pierce power, 30% attack, 100% weakness strike, plus the pierce rate and pierce power, and the 10% ult damage that Shizu gives every time you use her. Cool, whatever. But I mean, we're gonna nuke the crap out of this Xion, and it's gonna be pretty funny. And we don't need an EX ult because she's not an EX character. So I mean, this works out. That actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. Bride Xion, as hated as you are when you show up in my summons, you're still not a terrible unit. She actually had one of the better skill fusions. All right, how much do we do here with the crit and everything? 254. Okay, I mean, that wasn't a lot of damage, but again, it's a very old team and it's a burst team, so 254, I think, for Xion is very good. And then you with the crit. You don't have the weakness buff because you were already in last turn, so you lost it. So you have guaranteed pierce and you have crit. And you did 49k. All right, well, it doesn't really matter. Oh well, we wanted to see her supporting Xion because she is a support unit, right? Through and through. She's meant to make other units do more damage and make 6 hand sends of blue orbs, realistically, much easier to do. And we still cleared the stage. So, yeah, and we got our end screen too. So I think, yeah, this is a good place to end. She can be used on a burst team, Light or whoever else. Much more useful on a blue stacking team, especially the new team, the Light 3.0 team. You could put her on the Fount of Wisdom team if you want, but I don't have their beatdown battle to test it. She's a really good unit though, guys. But she is, for maximum efficiency, dependent on having the new Protector Valentine to give us that synergy buff so we can actually get the synergy resistance down. Because we're only able to see that on one battle today. And it did a literal fuck ton of damage in that one battle, but only one battle. So that is a slight drawback. Otherwise, I think she's a great unit. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But that's it for me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.